Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to review Uncle's Dream by Fyodor Dostoevsky. So I've read The Eternal Husband last year and I have a book review for that. I've been going through Dostoevsky's shorter works before I tackle the long ones. I have one more to read, The Double, somewhere. Yeah, I changed my bookshelf a little bit, so I don't know where it is. I have The Double to read, and then I'm going to sit down and actually organize my video series idea for the Karamazov brothers. I want to either vlog each part or vlog and film a sit-down video reviewing each part, like sort of give you a check-in. I'm not sure, but I do want to organize that. So after The Double, that is the goal. I read Uncle's Dream in February, so I got it just because I want to get all of Dostoevsky's books. This one is a Portuguese translation, and this was translated by the same people that translated The Eternal Husband, Nina and Pedro Guerra. They translate from Russian, which is something that just caught my eye, and that's why I've been buying these editions. I really like the translation. I think it's just, as far as I know, it's just really well done. But the Karamazov brothers is in English. That's the one that I own in English. That one and Crime and Punishment. Yeah, those two are in English. So this was originally written as a play. Wait, I think Dostoevsky got the idea for this and he wanted it to be a play, but then it just ended up being just a novella. My edition is 165 pages long and the chapters are not that long. Give me a second because my cat wants in. I closed the hallway door and he wanted to just be here, apparently. So, anyway, as I was saying, this is still a classic. So reading it in my first language doesn't really mean that I'm just going to fly through it. The sentence structure, the type of narrative is still different from reading a more contemporary book. The story was really entertaining and that's what kept me going. But every now and then you get these pages of just text with no paragraph break, as you can see. And it's not like it's difficult to read, but there's just like a lot of details. And I don't know if you feel this, but I think this is one of my characteristics as a reader. Whenever I'm reading something like this with lots of text with no break, it just feels like I'm going like 100 miles an hour and I can't stop to think because there's just so much information and I can't stop reading and put it down. So that part's a little bit difficult, but it doesn't happen very often. In this book we follow Maria. Let me just tell you that all of the names are Russian, so I don't know if I'm mispronouncing them. Maria Alexandrovna. She is a very popular lady in her small town of Mordosov. And she's one of those ladies that you see in like sitcoms. She has a lot of friends, but she doesn't like any of her friends. The street, sorry. She wants to be the most popular one. She wants to be the one that people go to whenever they need something or they need help with something. So it's like a group of mean girls. They all get along, but not really. And Maria is very vicious. She knows a lot about people. She knows a lot of their secrets, and she's not afraid to use what she knows against them. But she only does it if it's strictly necessary. So, she has she sets some boundaries for herself. We're following Maria. She's trying to get her daughter Zina, who's 23 and unmarried. Shame. Married. She's trying to find her a husband. Zina is extremely beautiful, intelligent, but she is having difficulties finding a husband because she was involved in a social scandal a few years ago, and people are still like talking about it. And unfortunately, Maria is very invested in trying to fix everything, even though Zina is okay with the situation and with people talking about her. She doesn't have an issue with that. Then we have Prince K. Prince K is a prince. He's an aristocrat. He has a lot of money and a title, but unfortunately his mind is going. He is just very eccentric and quirky, and he has some difficulty placing names and faces and even understand exactly where he is and when things are happening. He gets confused with real life events, and sometimes he thinks it was all a dream. So he's a little bit out of touch with reality. And Maria is trying to take advantage of him and trying to convince him to marry Zina. Zina has a conscience, unlike her mom, and she knows that this is not right because they're taking advantage of someone who cannot like sort of fence for themselves. And people are going to understand what Maria is trying to do at the end of the day. So it's not like she's going to save her daughter from embarrassment. She's just switching up things. Instead of being embarrassed by what happened years ago, you are going to be embarrassed by what I'm making you do now. This reads exactly as a play. I could totally see this happening on stage. The dialogues are hilarious. Prince K's character is just so absurd. At one point it's just he's hilarious to a certain point, and then it's just sort of sad that people are taking advantage of him and talking to him as if he's a child and he cannot understand things for himself. There's a lot of drama involved and things escalate quickly. This happens in a matter of days. So I thought this was going to take a while. The Eternal Husband is more or less the same length, and it takes a long time for the story to progress. But with this one, everything happens in like 2 or 3 days, and then the end we do have like a sort of a time gap there between things. I would recommend this book if you are looking into getting to know Dostoevsky's less popular books, but also if you want sort of a break. And I don't mean this in a negative way. It's just that every time we talk about Dostoevsky, we talk about how heavy his books are, how stressed his characters are psychologically. I think his books require a lot from you. Even as you're reading them, it requires a lot of effort from you because they are very introspective, and in a way they always cross that border with, you know, philosophy and psychology. And if you want a break from that, this one is just very light in comparison, I would say. I still think that I like The Eternal Husband better just because I really like the main character. Mario was just very obnoxious, but I really like Prince K's character and all the interactions that involved him. I think it was just a delight. Unfortunately, it got to a point that was just very frustrating for me as a reader, because you see this happening and you think, well, this actually happens, right? It's just people taking advantage of others who are in a way weaker, and they don't really have anyone defending them. Obviously, all of his books, Dostoevsky's books and characters and stories, they are sort of a portrait of what society is really like. He's a very realistic author. He's not afraid of the truth, and he's not afraid how it will impact others in a way. He really wants us in a way to open our eyes to what's happening. This is something that you still see nowadays, right? So marrying for money, not for love, marrying for convenience, a marriage of convenience, and what society is going to think of you and how they are going to deal with everything you're doing and everything you're involved with, like people talking about you. And it's sad. But the majority of this book is actually hilarious, and I would recommend it if you are not aware of this book. I didn't know he wrote a book called Uncle's Dream, so and there are a lot more of these really short books by Dostoevsky out there, and I would like to collect them and read them all, and I'm having a lot of fun going through his shorter books. I would love to know if you have read this book and your thoughts, or maybe you can go and read it and then come back and tell me. I would love to have sort of a discussion with people. Let me know if you agree with me or not. And yeah, this is a recommendation basically, so I hope you enjoyed this book if you are planning on reading it. So that's it for me. I'm not going to spoil anything. Every now and then I like to film reviews or divide my review videos into parts, and the second part is when I sort of spoil things a little bit, but in this case I don't think that's necessary. The book is quite short, and if I say anything I'll just basically talk for hours, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, let me know what you think, and let me know if you are planning on reading it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye.